master this one concept that we are about to share with you in this session, and you can change your life. And that is change your story, change your life. Welcome back to the Awakening, Embrace Fulfillment, because life is like a game without any timeouts or substitutions. So I want that you can make yours the best story that you could ever tell. And to explore today's profound topic, I have invited a person who blew my mind. I have experienced the power of this person's work. She helped me replace stress and tension with calmness and courage. So it's a great honor to have with me today Olga Goralewicz. Olga, welcome.
Thank you so much, Joakim, for this beautiful introduction. So my name is, yes, Olga Goralewicz, and I'm a guide, I'm a coach. I help others to access their innate inner and outer wisdom. So I'm helping you to connecting with your body, with your heart, with your soul, and to access this wisdom to help you to dissolve the blocks that are holding you back, and also to make better decisions that are more in alignment with your authentic self. So yeah, that's me. That's what I'm doing right now.
I love that. I'm looking forward to elaborate upon these perspectives in terms of changing our story, changing our life. If this is the first time listening to me as well, I'm Joakim. I'm a breakthrough coach. I empower you to for you to step into your fullest potential. So when you look at yourself in the mirror, instead of wishing you had come further by now, you're proud of who you're looking at. And with that, Olga, let's dive into it. And maybe we should start with what is a story? Because the thing is, our stories could either be one of inspiration or it could be one of a warning. What would you say a story is when it comes to how we define our life?
I see the story as a script. So it's like however we're gonna write it, however we're gonna say it is, it's going to be that way. It's like a script. So however we use our language, however, with whatever decisions we make, whatever we are telling ourselves, it's going to happen, and it's going to be like that. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, or like a manifestation, someone would say. Yeah.
Yeah, I like what you say there with it's about what we tell ourselves and our actions. Because I found too that if we want to create a life that we desire, we gotta have that integration and alignment in our thoughts and our actions, as you say, and also like how we describe ourselves. So if we find ourselves taking two steps forward, but then suddenly a step back, there is something in us that is keeping us down. And in my experience, it's a limiting belief, and that can come back to the story. How are we like labeling our life? What is the meaning we give to things? I think that is what it's that's something really important as well, like the meaning we give to
Oh
things.
yeah. Oh yeah, the meaning is super important, and how we form and how we connect the emotions with that story. So our thought patterns, our thoughts and our emotions, our body language, everything is connected to our story. And how we can actually see that when we, for example, talking with a friend and we're talking about ourselves, or a situation that it's challenging or hard. However we name it, it's challenging or it's hard.
Mm.
So this is exactly how we form the story, and how it's formed in our heads, and then we continue to behave accordingly.
Yeah. I like that you said if we were to talk to a friend, because it can so often be easier to look at other people and, for example, judge them or look or find patterns in others compared to ourselves.
Exactly, right, exactly. It's so easy to see it in others, right, than to see it in ourselves. But I feel that's how we learn sometimes. It's easier because we can take a step back and observe. But
Yeah.
yes.
So for you who listen in, the reason we are sharing this as well is because we want you to be able to catch yourself telling the story you're telling yourself. Because, as I mentioned earlier, your story could be one of an inspiration or it could be a warning. So, which one would you like it to be? That is my invitation to you who listen in to think about. And with that, why can we go a little bit? Let's go a little bit into why does it really matter, Olga? Why do you think it really matter to be able to craft this empowering story, which is going to be an inspiration instead of a warning? Before we later tap into how can we do that, but first and foremost, why do you see that this really matters?
Well, from my perspective and from my client's perspective, I think that it matters if if we want to achieve something in life, if we dream about something, or even if we don't, that also a story. Why don't we have a dream? Because there's probably a story that is limiting us. So I feel like it's very important to look at it from the different perspectives, because not only the story itself, it tells a lot, but also if we have the story that we can tell others.
Yeah, I love what you said there. Like, if we have a dream or if we feel that something is missing our life at the moment, the story might be the explanation. So why does it really matter, yeah, to identify this story that we currently give to our life? It's so, yeah, we can catch ourselves, because with the awareness, when we can catch ourselves telling a certain story, can make a more conscious decision. As you said earlier, how we label it, what words are we using? Because what I found with my experience and also with my clients' experience is, what do most people do, like when a challenge occurs? Because here comes the now we're going into like what would make your story a story of inspiration or one of a warning. Most people, they ignore problems. Like, they might say like, okay, my life is good when it's not really. They say they maybe feel great energy or healthy when, okay, you can just look at yourself and it might not be the body you deserve. And many also have like explanations. And I think that is a story can often be like an explanation and
Yeah,
especially an
like
excuse.
giving. Mm-hmm.
What did you say?
Yeah. Sorry. Yes, like a reason giving that
Yeah.
something, yeah, didn't work out, or
Yes.
there's something happened. Yeah.
Yeah. So many, we have a tendency to use a story as an excuse, just like an explanation to justify why my life is the way it is. So just be very aware of that if you use that story as a justification instead of empowering yourself.
Exactly. That's so beautiful you've mentioned that, because I've been there. Like my story was a story of a victim. I was in a pure victimhood, like for many years, because I didn't see it from, from a perspective. And reason giving was my kind of way of going through life. Okay, something didn't happen because, okay, this and this happened, and I couldn't achieve that because someone or something didn't, you know, happened how I want it to happen. And so yeah, I know that firsthand, and that can be very powerful and keep you really in their claws. But yeah, of course we can break it.
Yeah, and I would love to touch upon that in a moment, like how we can break that, because okay, a story can be powerful and it can be powerful in the sense that it boxes you in, it becomes this burden because it might feel relieving when you can have this story, when you can tell people a story, explanations, justifications, why life is the way it is and why it can't change. But deep inside, is it really that way you want to feel? There's probably another destiny, another kind of life that is gonna be more fulfilling, that's gonna make life even more richer for you. So let's go into that with, okay, how can we then like breakthrough? How can we change it? How I see that is all about the meaning we give to the experiences we have. So if we can find a blessing, if we can find a lesson in things, then we can set ourselves free. So for example, for myself, in I was on a career path and a career plan for a long time. And then the employer changed it towards the very end of the career plan. So I was like on a 6-year career plan. And 1 month before like the final thing is going to kick in and mark the end of this with a big advancement, it's changed. And I like to blame them why things couldn't happen or why I felt sad and locked in. But now I actually look at it as a gift because it helped me put me in this position where I found a bigger meaning in my life to serve others from being disempowered to finding this find so much meaning in serving others to step into their fullest potential. How do you see this, Olga? How can we like switch around a story, or what would you like to chip in on this?
First of all, I wanted to, yes, that's a beautiful story. That's a beautiful, I just saw your Instagram post today and it was so cool because you written these words that can, which one that you can change the meaning of like, yeah, different things. And it's so beautiful.
So just to
Uh,
give some context, since you mentioned the Instagram post, it was all about change your perspective because that can also change your life.
yes, yes,
So there were
yes.
just some different, instead of looking at, for example, because when things happen in life, the challenges we tend to not like, we call them problems. So if you can, for example, there find a gift, a lesson. So turning a problem into a lesson is going to set you free. Please continue, Olga.
Exactly. And that was huge for me. That's why I mentioned that's why I think it's so beautiful. So yes, I feel like the meaning, of course, how we see that and seeing a lesson, it's so much easier than seeing a problem. It's just easier. The other thing I would add is three things: making a decision, language, and the last one, being present with what your mind is telling you. So what kind of story your mind is producing at this very specific moment. So
So if someone never like really been present with their thoughts, what tip can you share with us in order for us to be more present with all the mind chatter?
oh, beautiful. Yes. Yeah, they're so that was, yeah,
Now
they're
I'm
so,
curious.
but yeah, because there are so many tips and exercises you can do. But the easiest thing to do is just sit with your mind and notice, because your mind is producing all the time. Of course. Or well, I would say when we're sleeping, it's not, but it also it also does, right? So it's producing all the time. So just sit, notice, and name it. That's how you know, because our minds tend to repeat the same thoughts. So that's how you'll know. And that's how you, okay, oh, wow, you'll see like probably, wow, okay, it's like, I see it like 10 times in a row right now, the same thought. It's repeating and repeating, or I can't do it, or something like that. It was for me. It was my thought as well. I can't do this. I'm not smart enough, or something like that. Yeah, so just sitting with it, noticing, observing it, and name it. This is like the most elemental thing you can do.
Great. I found in that process to be very helpful to journal. So write things down because
Yes.
you said like label it, describe it, name it. So yeah, for me to sit down and write things that helps me connect dots and also set aside that time to reflect. I found that to be profound.
Oh, yes,
No.
yes. And if you can share that with somebody, your reflection, it also empowers that move. So it's also very helpful.
What do you mean by empowers that move? Can you elaborate upon that?
If you can talk to somebody with what you just noticed, you by using your language, of course, using your hand is super important, but then using your language, and okay, I can see that, and changing that like on the spot, it's also very empowering. That,
Mm.
yeah, that's what I meant.
And you mentioning changing that, that reminds me of some work you do. I would like to touch upon one last thing.
Yeah.
And if you have some final comments, please add that before we wrap up. And just before we wrap up, yeah, I would like to touch upon this thing in terms of, okay, being able to change things, because I heard from some mentor, things get a little bit blurred in my mind over all these years of my own journey of discovery. And someone talked about it's like never too late to have a happy childhood. And I know that you do like out of childhood programming or what do you call it, but could you share a little bit about your perspective on this? Like, it's never too late to have a happy childhood in terms of change your story, change your life.
Yeah, probably as we all know, we have this childhood programming. So our thoughts are usually not actually ours, but our parents, our like family, or even a like a generational thinking. So we can always have access to that and repattern that, but we just need to be aware. That's the only thing. So the awareness is the key. So if you are aware that, for example, this thought is actually not mine, but my mom's, that the, I don't know, you need to always look like you're going on a party or something, I don't know, like whatever there
Are
is.
anyone else having their mom's voice in their head?
Right? I do. My grandma's, but yes, of course, and my mom's as well. But so the awareness here is the key. So yeah, and you can work if you know, it's so much easier to work with that because it's already not in the, it's in the light. Yeah.
Thanks for elaborating upon that. Yeah, identifying these thoughts, maybe also see if there's other voices in their head that are talking to us. We all have that. For example, also the like inner critic, as I like to call it, the voice that talks us down, that sees the doubt, that says we are not good enough. And yeah, I have found that we can adapt behaviors. You might not be aware, but many of your behaviors are most likely inherited from people you have spent a heck lot of time with. And that could be, yeah, parents or grandparents. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
not sure if you want to add in any final thoughts before we wrap this up. I heard you say like one profound thing here, which has been repeating, which aligns with what I say as well. And that is clarity is king here, the awareness, being able to turn the unconscious to the conscious. So we can be aware because with awareness, we can make conscious decisions. And that could also mean we give our story, our life, past experiences, we give that a new meaning. Oh, any final thoughts here before we wrap this up?
Beautifully said. Yeah, just wanted to tell everyone that you all have power to change your story right now. You can do it's only up to you. However you do it, whatever you wanted to have in that story or to delete it or it's in your power. So I just wanted to, yes, share that.
Awesome. Thanks. For you who listen in, let us know in the comments what been your biggest takeaway. What have you learned that is making the biggest impact for you? We're curious to hear so we can support you on your journey. Olga, I really appreciate that you took the time to come on here, and we might see you again, I guess.
Ooh,
Yes. So
thank you
thanks
so
for
much.
joining. Yeah, thanks for coming with us, and make the rest of your day a great one. Let us know in the comments what your biggest takeaway been.
Thank you so much. Thank you.